Hello. What? What is it? Huh? You want to be out on the porch or you want to be inside? Inside? Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Didn't fall off yet. Uh-oh. Did that fall in the crevice? Oh no. Here, Bessie, you're not gonna get it. Oh, no. That failed. Okay. Okay, here we go. Sorry, Bessie. Here. Here. Alright. Hey guys, so I come to you for another Friday Reads. I tried to record this a few times this morning and failed miserably. I just kept kind of fizzling out and losing my train of thought and then just stopping the video. I'm not sure why that happened when I tried to film this morning, but it may just be because I was a little out of it after cleaning all morning. This morning I decided, or yesterday I decided that today would be the day that I would clean my apartment from head to toe. So, yeah, my apartment looks pristine right now. All the floors are vacuumed, all the countertops are clean, everything's straightened, all the things are in their places, so that I can proceed to make it messy again over the course of the next few weeks. And I made today the day that I spent a couple hours cleaning, because yesterday was the day that I finished up my BookTube prize reading. So that's the big reading news in my life this week. So I finished Know My Name by Chanel Miller and The Ice at the End of the World by Jon Gertner, and I was able to speed through both of them pretty quickly. They're pretty fast reads. But yeah, so I'm done with my BookTube prize reading, very excited. I will be putting together some sort of review video of all 6 that I will post on June 1st or something, and I'll hopefully record that video this weekend. Now, I have also this week finished A History of God by Karen Armstrong. I mentioned several times that I want to do a video about this one. I'm not entirely certain whether that will happen, because this is a really hard book to review in, like, an individual video, because, you know, she's covering, you know, as she says in the title, 4,000 years of history. It's really more like 2,500 years of history, but still, a lot of history, a lot of intellectual history. You know, this is really jam-packed with ideas and with different thinkers, and she does a really, really good job of covering all of it and making it all extremely accessible and engaging to read about. But there's just such a huge breadth of content in it that I would despair of being able to do this book justice in one video. So I'm on the fence about whether I'm going to follow through on doing a video on this book. But several commenters mentioned that they were excited to hear what I thought of this book. And just give you a quick and dirty summary in case I don't get that video out. I will just say that I think if you're interested in theology or the history of religious thought in the 3 major Judeo-Christian faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then this is a great introduction to all 3 of those. It does manage to go into some degree of depth on all 3, surprisingly. It manages to be very accessible on all 3. And if you want a sort of introductory text like that, that is not, like, hugely long, is not exactly short, but it's about 400 pages, then this would be good. I will warn you that the last 50 to 60, 70 pages get very tedious, because more and more towards the end of the book, it becomes more like just a series of encyclopedia entries of different writers and thinkers that Karen Armstrong is just kind of listing off one by one, and that is fine and informative, but not particularly fun to read or engaging to read. So just be warned about that. But other than that, this is a really good text to just introduce yourself to some of the basics of religious thought in the West and the Near East. So, yeah. And then the two books I'm continuing to work on for now are 1491 New Revelations of the Americas Before Columbus by Charles Mann, which is a buddy read with Patrice Jones and Peg from the History Shelf, and I'm now almost 70 pages in, and it's still really easy to read and everything. We're only reading 50 pages a week, so it's not like a huge investment of time. But I'm kind of behind. I'm behind Peg, and Patrice is behind me, so we're all kind of at different points. So the buddy read is a little scattered at the moment, but we're good. We're gonna persist, I think. And then I'm of course still chipping away at The War with Hannibal by Livy, which I'm still really enjoying, just reading in small chunks. I really am enjoying it, genuinely. I think if I tried to read bigger swaths of it at once, I might get a little bit tired of it, but reading it in small chunks is really enjoyable. It is written in a sort of episodic manner. I could see this as being something that someone would, like, read aloud in little sections day by day at, like, the marketplace, where people would, like, gather around and listen to them. Yeah, so that's how I'm choosing to consume it myself, as I read it. So, yeah, and I'm just over 200 pages. I'm now in book 24, which is book 4 of this particular section. Yeah, so that's still going very well. But, other than that, now that the BookTube Prize reading is done, now that the Maybe Midrash reading is done, I am just looking forward to about 3.5 months of reading whatever I damn well please. Not that I didn't really enjoy the Maybe Midrash reading, not that I didn't enjoy the BookTube Prize reading, and I will say that I was pleased with how my BookTube Prize reading went. I enjoyed most of the books I read, to some degree or another, and didn't hate any of them, or didn't loathe any of them, you know. And even though when I was struggling, I still found that struggle to be worthwhile and interesting. So like I'm not complaining about Maybe Midrash or the BookTube Prize reading or any of the other buddy reads I've been doing, but I'm just really pleased to be looking ahead to a summer of just reading Lukács books, and by that I just mean whatever I damn well please at any given moment. Just total mood reader for the next 3 or so months. I only have 2 buddy reads that are set in stone for the summer. Next month in June, Brian over at Bookish and I are buddy reading the second book in N.K. Jemisin's Broken Earth trilogy, which I'm really excited about. I really enjoyed the first of those books, so I have high hopes for the second one. And then I believe in July, Britta Bowler and I are buddy reading Between the Acts by Virginia Woolf, which will be really cool because I have not read a Virginia Woolf novel in a few years. I really actually need to do some Virginia Woolf rereading, to be honest. But I'm looking forward to that a lot because I really like Virginia Woolf, and that's a big one of hers that I haven't read yet. And then Jason over at Byways and Bookland and I do have a sort of buddy read of On the Nature of Things by Lucretius. Sort of, we sort of agreed that we want to do it, but we're not sure when yet. So I imagine he and I will talk about that. But other than those, this will be a summer of reading whatever I want. So some books that I see myself starting today once I turn off the camera. I am kind of feeling a couple of rereads, and in particular, I think I will reread A Grief Observed by C.S. Lewis, which I guess sort of qualifies as a Maybe Midrash read, because I did put it in my Maybe Midrash TBR, but really this is just a book that I, for some reason, have been drawn to in this time of anxiety and with everything going on. It's a really beautiful book, and it's a really short book, too, so yeah, that. And then the next one is The Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, again, very short, but yeah, I named this my favorite nonfiction book of all time in my top 10 nonfiction books tag, but I haven't read it in several years. So, and again, it's like this book is all about kind of how to sort of deal with anxiety and deal with the stuff that life throws at you. And so I think that it would be a good reread for this time. And I've just been thinking about needing to reread it. And again, it's short, so it won't be a huge investment of time. And then the other two are both fiction. You'll all be glad to hear. The first one is Flush by Virginia Woolf, which is a kind of imaginative biography of Elizabeth Barrett Browning from the perspective of her dog, who's named Flush. And I just think that sounds like a really charming book that might be fun to read. Again, I'm trying to look for books that will be good for me to read during this anxiety-inducing time, just because I've been craving just like comfort reads for so long, as I've been having to finish up my booktube prize reading and participating in maybe Midrash. It's nice to just settle into something that's hopefully just going to be sort of, fun like this, and then the next book I see myself starting is Throne of Jade by Naomi Novik, the second book in the Temeraire series, which is basically the Napoleonic Wars with dragons. I read the first of these books just a month or so ago and enjoyed it thoroughly. So, yeah. And this one's a bit longer, but it'll be easy, It's just fun fantasy reading. Yeah, so anyway. And I do have a stack of other books that I sort of have my eyes on, which is actually what the camera's sitting on right now. I'm not going to show those, though, because if I do, then I will immediately decide that I don't want to read them. So anyway, yeah, that's a Friday Reads. In terms of other things I've been consuming this week, let's see, last Saturday I watched The Last Temptation of Christ, directed by Martin Scorsese, and loved it. I think it's a brilliant portrayal of Jesus Christ. I think it portrayed him incredibly powerfully. It portrayed him in a way that is much truer to how he's actually portrayed in the Gospels than I think is put forward in, like, our conversation about Jesus, because I feel like Jesus is often talked about as though he's this, like, peace-loving, kind, warm-hearted man, but when you read the Gospels and look at him as a character, he's actually quite abrasive and kind of demanding as a leader, and I think that the Last Temptation of Christ captured that, and also captured what was really genuinely moving about Jesus as a person. So I loved that. On Monday, I watched Goodfellas, also directed by Scorsese. I considered watching The Irishman, but a little bird told me that The Irishman is better to watch after you've watched some of Scorsese's other gangster films. So I thought I'd watch Goodfellas, which is on one streaming service or another, and then I also want to watch Casino, which is on another streaming service. I think it might be Stars, but anyway, and then I will watch The Irishman at some point. But I wasn't blown away by Goodfellas. I have a feeling that gangster films are just not really my thing. I just think that the mafia politics are so convoluted and difficult to follow that, I'm just confused for half the film. And for the other half, where it's more like character-driven or personal drama, I am interested, but, like, I don't know if that's really worth the other half, where I'm just confused. So, I don't know. But I will watch Casino, and I will watch The Irishman, and we will see. And I also watched I, Tonya, with Jason from Chapter and Verse and Kelly from Books I'm Not Reading, as well as Karen Evans, who is a newish channel, or Karen Evans, I think, had a channel and then has just started making videos again. But anyway, she was there. Ami from Ami 1649, or Yvonne's Nightmare, another channel, was there, and a couple other people who are in real life friends of Jason and Kelly. And I, Tonya is really, really good. But it was really refreshing for me as a figure skater to see a figure skating film that is just like a good film, because most films about figure skaters are garbage, and this one was actually like a really good film with really great acting performances. It was very like self-conscious, like there was a lot of sort of meta stuff where the characters would like talk to the camera or something, and I love stuff like that in films. It was very funny, but also a really powerful portrayal of an abusive relationship between Tonya Harding and her boyfriend slash husband slash ex-husband, and Tonya Harding and her mother. Just really well done. So I can definitely recommend that. Yeah. And anyway, that's what I have. And as always, give me your thoughts on any of the books I've mentioned, and let me know what you're reading, what you're doing, how you're doing in the midst of all this. Are you going out and doing stuff socially distant or not socially distant or what? Yeah, just let me know how you're doing and what you're reading and what you think of these books. And anyway, I'll let y'all go, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.